We're like Paul. When Paul said, I learned how to be content that I find myself in, whether I have it or not, I learn how to be content. I'm like David, I'll bless the Lord at all times. Look at somebody and say, I'll bless him at all times. I don't get nervous when my check doesn't come in the mail because I got a little bit saved up. I don't get frustrated when they cut my food stamps back because I know how to make a meal. I know how to sell the little bit that I have to get some money. We must realize that our issues come to give us, everybody say, a testimony. Our issues come to give us a testimony. Our issues come to give us a testimony. They come, our past issues that you are experiencing in your life are giving you a strategy to learn how to deal with and defeat a certain kind of demon. Oh, God. You go through stuff in your life now to know how to deal with a certain kind of demon. What kind of demon you talking about? The wealth demon, the rich demon, the pride demon. I know how to live without. So when that spirit tries to creep up on me, when I make it to my head, that I don't forget where I came from. Look at somebody and say, I won't forget where I came from. So the story says how Elisha heard a word from the Lord. He heard a word from the Lord that says, by this time tomorrow, I know it's a famine in the land, and I know that things are hard for you in this country. I know that they saying that the economy is going down and we're entering into a recession. I know that things are looking bad, but the word of the Lord came and said, you know what? This church is going to be prosperous. Oh, God. This church is going to be rich. This church is going to have when everybody else is struggling. The word of the Lord came, and then a hater. Oh, everybody has some haters in your life. Whenever you get a promise from God, whenever you get a word from God, they come into your life and they tell you something off. Like, yeah, the only way that'll happen is if God do it. I'm glad you said it, because the only way that it is going to happen is if God is going to do it. So the story says that how the four lepers men were faced with the issue. If I go back to where I was, some of our issues are so hard that some of our past stuff was so hard that we won't even imagine going back. So if I go back, I'll die. But if I sit here, I'll starve to death. And I'm so afraid of my future. I'm so afraid of what's going to happen. My struggle and my issues are so hard and so bad. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't see myself living another day like this. So the four lepers men, they were already messed up because they were plagued with the disease of leprosy. They had scales all over their body. So if I go back to my past, I'll die in my sickness. If I stay right here, I'll starve to death. And I go ahead, I'm afraid of what's going to be ahead of me. Look at somebody and say, I'm afraid of what's ahead of me. So the story says how they sat at the gate and they decided, they talked amongst themselves and they took a vote. They took a ballot. They said, what are we going to do? If we sit here, we're going to die. If we go back, we're going to die. If we go forward, we're going to die. But the word of the Lord, as they sat there, they came to themselves, and God spoke to them and said, what you got to do, look